Good day everyone. My name is Aris Elbalaki and my topic is all about stakeholders in curriculum implementation. So the desired learning outcomes in this lesson is identify the stakeholders of the curriculum and enumerate the role of each stakeholder. Curriculum stakeholders. Number 1. Learners are at the core of the curriculum. Learners have more dynamic participation from the planning, designing, implementing, and evaluating. However, the degree of their involvement is dependent on their maturity. The older they are in high school or college, the more they participate. So meaning, the students are placed at the center of their own learning, and they have given voice to express their own learning experiences. Next is number 2. Teachers are curricularists. Teachers are stakeholders who plan, design, teach, implement, and evaluate the curriculum. No doubt, the most important person in the curriculum implementation is the teacher. Better teacher fosters better learning. Some of the roles that the teachers do in curriculum implementation are: number 1, guiding, facilitating, and directing the activities of the learners. Number 2, choosing the activities and the methods to be utilized. Number 3, choosing the materials that are necessary for the activity. Number 4, evaluating the whole implementation process. And number 5, making a decision whether to continue, modify, or terminate the curriculum. So teachers are the brain of the curriculum implementation. All of the adjustments, implementation, everything is in their hand. So let's proceed to number 3. School leaders are curriculum managers. Principals and school heads too have important roles in curriculum implementation process in schools. They should understand fully the need for change and implementation process. They should be ready to assist the teachers and the students in the implementation. School heads have also their line management responsibilities for the teachers and the staffs. They are responsible for the overall management of the school. Next is number 4, parents. Parents are significant school partners. School need to listen to parents' concerns about the school curriculum like textbooks, school activities, grading systems, and others. Schools have one way of engaging parents' cooperation through Brigada Eskwela. Parents' involvement in the school is also important because this is one way of verifying whether the student is still active in the school or not. And on the other side, it is important that the school must hear the parents' side regarding to the finances in the projects. And that ends my report.
This is the continuation of the topic stakeholders. So, community is the curriculum resources and the learning environment. It takes the whole village to educate the child, goes the statement of former First Lady Hillary Clinton. So, what do you think of this statement? Well, yes, it takes the whole village to educate the child. The people whom your children are around in their everyday lives will affect on who your children will grow up to be. Neighbors, teachers, coaches, and church leaders will have an effect on who your children will become in the future. Next one is, the community is the extended school ground, a learning environment. So it means that all the barangay leaders, the elders, other citizens, and residents of the community have a stake in the curriculum. It is the bigger school community that becomes the venue of learning. The rich natural and human resources of the community can also assist in educating the children. Last one is, the community is the reflection of the school's influence, and the school is a reflection of the community's support. For me, that means that what we are in the community is how we behave in schools. If we fail to apply what we have learned in school, our community will not progress. The last one is other stakeholders in curriculum implementation and development. So let's start with the government agencies. We have DepEd, TESDA, and CHED. They're focalized agencies that have regulatory and mandatory authorities over implementation. So, kini si DepEd, TESDA, ug CHED. These are the government agencies that have the regulatory and mandatory authorities over implementation. Like, for example, ang DepEd, they implemented, diba, the K-12 curriculum. The next one is Professional Regulation Commission or PRC and Civil Service Commission CSC. The agency that certifies and issues teacher licenses to qualify one to teach and affirms and confirms na appointment of teachers in the public schools. So kani si PRC ug si CSC, they certifies and issues licenses. And kani si PRC, no, as kita future educators, dapat iman nato na after ta maka-graduate og college, dito ata sa PRC mag-file for licensure examination for teachers. And if kita makapasar ana nga exam, na board exam, we will receive our teacher's license in the PRC gihapon. And PRC, through the LET board exam, dirian nila masukod if a teacher is really qualified na ba nga magtudlo, especially in the public schools. The next is local government units or LGU. Include the municipal government officials and the barangay officials. Some of the teachers are paid through the budget of LGUs. So, kani si LGU, they also construct school buildings. They provide equipment, support the professional development teachers, and provide school supplies and books. And kani si LGU, they are a big supporters in the implementation of a school curriculum. So, let's move on to non-government agency. The first one is Gawad Kalinga or GK. To build communities means to include education. The full support of GK in early childhood education is very significant. In each village, a school for preschool children and out-of-school youth have been established. So, this non-government agency, the Gawad Kalinga, they build communities that include education. And their full support is very significant in those early childhood. And the school for preschool and for out-of-school youth, they have been established by the Gawad Kalinga or the GK. The next one is Synergia, an organization or foundation that supports basic education to elevate education through reading, science, mathematics, and English. So, kaning Synergia is also a non-government agency, but they support basic education like through reading, science, mathematics, and English. The next one is Metrobank Foundation, supports continuing teacher development program. Next is Philippine organizations like Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, State Universities and Colleges Teacher Educators Association, National Organization of Science Teachers and Educators, Mathematics Teachers Association of the Philippines, and many more. A school curriculum, whether big or small, is influenced by many stakeholders. Each one has a contribution and influence in what should replace, modify, and substitute the current curriculum. Each one has a significant mark in specific development and change process of curriculum development. So, I hope na daghan mo na learn sa among discussion from this topic, and thank you for listening. God bless us all.